Good afternoon. My name is Chin Yi, and today I'll be introducing a book to you entitled Diet for a Small Planet. This is written by Frances Moore Lapp. She's an American author. So how Frances came out with this idea was way back in 1960s, and she was studying for her university, and she did some research about the global supply food chain. What she realized enraged her. She realized that half of the world's grains were actually grown to be fed to livestock, while millions of the others worlds grew hungry. So hunger was actually man-made. So in 1960, she started to write a one-page report, which she gave out and convinced many others. Throughout the years, and she did more research, and in 1971, she published her first edition of this book, which actually started the nutrition revolution in America. So what lessons did Frances have to tell us? Let's take a look. The first lesson would be the protein factory in reversed. So we do know that we eat food just for protein, but what is the ecological cost to produce one protein that we actually eat? On average, we do require about 6 to 7 pounds of grain and soya just to produce about 1 pound of meat for our consumption. That's the protein cost. But on the other end of the spectrum, we do see the top of the food chain is beef. Beef requires about 16 pounds of soy and grain just to produce 1 pound of meat protein for human consumption. What happens to the other 15 pounds of protein that was put into for this to produce this beef? The 15 pounds of other protein actually gets wasted through excrement or inaccessible proteins such as hair, skin and bones that we are not able to access. The second point that she makes is the fossil fuel cost that we get in producing the food that we eat. So this is a graph that shows the calories of fossil fuels are needed to get 1 calorie of protein. At the bottom, on average, to produce soybeans and corn and wheat, we need 2 to 3 calories of fossil fuels. On the upper end of the spectrum, we see that to produce 1 calorie of beef protein, we need 78 calories of fossil fuels. This is about 20 to 40 times more of the soya beans and the wheat calories for fossil fuels needed. So if 1 pound of beef actually gives us about 500 calories, to produce 1 pound of beef, we actually need 200,000 calories of fossil fuel just to produce 1 pound of beef. The third point she made was for the ecological cost. So we often think that our soil that we grow our crops on and the water that we grow our crops on are renewable. So what about them? Unfortunately, due to the economies that we have, many farmers are actually forced to grow faster and more, not allowing the topsoils, the Earth's natural topsoil, to renewable, and the quality that we get, and more topsoil are actually destroyed. So, what about water? So I've also read in this book that to produce 1 pound of meat protein, we actually require 9,000 liters of water just to produce 1 pound of beef protein. And not to mention all the soil and the fertilizers that we use that get leached into the soil and into our water ecosystem that affect all our marine aquatic life as well. So the concept is we do need protein, but what about the protein that we eat? Many people think we need lots of protein. However, in this concept, there is a concept called the net protein utilization. Protein can be taken, but it's not stored in our body. So the amount of protein that we eat, actually it passes through our digestive system. Some of it gets absorbed, and only a fraction of it has biological value and get retained by our body. The excess proteins are actually excreted by our livers and kidneys. So if we eat too much protein, it actually puts a metabolic strain on our kidneys and livers to excrete all the other proteins that are not actually used or stored by our body. And this probably contributes to our a rise in heart disease or kidney disease that we often see on the rise right now. Okay, so what about in the world in general? I'm sure many of us has heard about the floods in Pasir Ris 2 days ago, which showed that flood waters actually reached through our waist, and this is the first of its devastating floods in Singapore, massive flash floods in Singapore. Earlier, a few months ago, we also heard about the floods in Germany, Europe and China, which caused massive destructions. On the other end of the spectrum, Just earlier this month, we've heard about the Greek fires. Not too long ago, we've heard about the Amazon rainforest fires, and 2 years ago, we heard about the Australian bushfires, which actually destroyed millions of the biodiversity and ecosystem. When all these natural disasters increased in frequency and the amount of destruction that they bring, we actually have to realize and reflect upon ourselves. In fact, earlier this year, the International Panel for Climate Change had actually released a report which says, quote, great for humanity. The UN chief actually says human activities have actually caused sometimes irreversible damage to our ecosystems. So what can we do about all these natural disasters, you ask yourself? Do we always leave it to these experts? But the answer is actually very simple. And power lies in you and me. So the choices that we make, how you want to eat, how you want to live, and what future do you want to leave for our next generation. And the choice can become clear. Okay. Francis also made a mention of saying by the Chinese writer Lu Xun. She says, hope cannot be said to exist, nor can it be said not to exist. It is just like the roads across the earth. For actually, there were no roads to begin with, but when many people pass one way, a road is formed. And the Chinese saying by Lu Xun is, 世间无本无路，走的人多了，路就自然就成了路。So you may be the first one, but as more and more people make the conscious decisions to make a change in their lives, we can actually make a difference to our health as well as to save the earth. Okay. So now on to my journey on why I decided to become a vegetarian. So earlier this year, it was just another friend of mine. She asked me, shall we try vegetarian for this year? And then and I said, okay, since I had a friend with me and we started eating vegetarian since the beginning of the year, and we have actually stuck to it since. I find that adopting a vegetarian diet actually makes me healthier, clearer, and actually I feel that I have much more energy. And given the rapid rise in all the climate disasters that we are seeing, I believe adopting a vegetarian diet will help mitigate these disasters and hopefully will bring an end to global warming. In fact, earlier this morning, I've just read a news article that Greenland Ice Summit has just seen its first rainfall ever. So Greenland is usually snowy all year round, but just yesterday they've noticed its first rainfall, and this actually spells disaster, which actually suggests that there's global warming and the rise in sea levels and climate change. All these can be reversed, or effects can be slowed down if we make a conscious decisions about the way of life that we want to live. Thank you. Okay, so today we're actually at Lotus Seed Vegetarian in Jurong West, in Block 491 Jurong West. Okay, it's actually a new establishment which sells different kinds of dishes to go with the lunch. This is lemon fish, this is guru yolk, and this is abalone mushrooms drizzled with curry and brown rice. Okay. You want to take a look at the store? Let's go take a look. As today is the 15th of the month, they are slightly busy. So on other days, they do have zi cha in the evenings. So take a look. It is a simple store, but they do have some very fresh dishes over here. So do come and do drop by Lotus Seed Vegetarian if you are in the area. It's in Jurong West, Block 492. Thank you.
这个是咖喱的吗？对，咖喱啊。
太快了。
有人问你问题，
然后等下出来就慢慢讲，等下他会跟你讲。
哎呀 ，vegetarian diet， 真是，好了哦。
Can you talk about how you recommend your vegetarian diet to your patients?
How do I recommend vegetarian diet to my patients? As we all know, we need to eat a healthy diet of low salt, low protein, low salt, low fat. And a vegetarian diet, it's a plant-based protein has actually different mixture of plant-based proteins. Actually, can also it's a healthy diet. In fact, it's more natural and more organic, and it allows our body to break it down much faster and absorb the nutrients more efficiently. And and to eat a variety of protein, it's not just one. We have to eat a colorful diet. I'm pretty sure many of our dietitians have mentioned. So we try to eat the colors of the rainbow, like red, purple, or green things, foods. Yeah. Thank you.
Is it very costly?
Vegetarian diet, if it can be, it's not very costly. In fact, this meal is actually quite affordable at about $4. But if you can cook yourself, I'll actually recommend cooking it yourself. You go to the market, mushrooms, vegetables, green vegetables are actually very affordable. And we can actually cook in large quantities and enjoy it with our family and friends. So I'll recommend those that you get it from the market and less processed vegetarian, maybe those gluten or less fried food, but those that you can get from the market, you can actually make very healthy meals out of them. I believe we do have another few other videos about how to healthy vegetarian cooking. We can take a leaf out of these videos to learn about the healthy vegetarian cooking. Yeah. Are there any other questions? Ayoma.
So Singapore react to a plant-based diet recently.
Sorry?
How are the Singaporeans reacting to plant-based diet?
I think the Singaporeans are actually getting more and more aware with the climate change. The younger generation are getting trying to adopt a plant-based diet. Actually, through our actions, we actually influence the people around me. So ever since I started vegetarian diet earlier this year, I actually bought food for my juniors around me. And my friends have also, whenever we go out for meals, they've actually said, let's go to a vegetarian restaurant, and they're more open to going to a vegetarian restaurant. Yeah. With more education and doing it and showing it around you, people will start to realize the change it has made in you, and they will eventually adopt the change that with you as well.
Are your family supportive for your vegetarian diet?
Oh yes, they do, because every Sunday actually I cook. Every Sunday I'll go to the market and I'll cook for my grand aunts, and so whatever I cook, I'll cook vegetarian. So tonight's menu is actually red cabbage soup with a mushroom risotto, as well as a roasted asparagus. I just got it off from the market this morning. My grand aunt, she's 92. She usually has a very poor appetite, but whenever I cook all these nice, yummy, wholesome foods for her, she will finish the food. So I'm actually very glad. It actually gives her more energy. Yeah.
What time the shop is open and closed?
That we'll have to ask. Shall we ask the lady just to? It closes at 6, I think. Or we can get the 7. Closes at 7. It closes at 7 p.m.
About the temptation for the crabs, for the chili crabs.
Oh, temptations for chili crabs? I guess when we do have temptations for meat or anything like that, we do have to think what's the long run and why are we trying to eat the chili crabs or the meats. What need of us is it trying to satisfy? Perhaps if we are thinking just for the food or the taste, we can actually cook it in a vegetarian version, but maybe a chili crab dish or chili crab mushroom that can also have similar taste, and it can actually fulfill our need for nice food. It's actually not the product that we wanted to eat, and we just have to realize what is our innate need for trying to eat the chili crab. Yeah.
How much of the protein we need for the daily basis?
In a daily basis, everyone needs a different people will have different needs for daily proteins. But so, for example, patients who are actually ill, they will actually need more protein because their bodies are actually needing to recover themselves. So, but if you eat the protein and a balanced diet, you should be fine, and the rest will just be excreted out from the body.
Have you tried the recommend plant-based diet to your patient? How they get?
I've not actually recommended plant-based diet, but I do encourage them to have a healthy lifestyle and I do encourage them to eat more fruits and vegetables. Yeah.
Where can buy the book?
Where can I buy the food? Where can I buy the food? Oh, the book. Oh, this book is actually published in 1970 and this is the 20th edition. I've actually borrowed it from the library. So you could try seeing it online on Amazon, or you can try to get the e-version of the book. It's a dated copy. It's published since 1971, but I think nevertheless the lessons that we learn from is quite enduring. So go pop down to your library. There's several copies available in the National Library. Thank you very much. Bye.
Please follow our Eatcast.
Okay, please follow our Eatcast and our videos. Thank you.